My son's friend's parents offered to adopt him, and my 11-year-old shut it down. My son's best friend's parents asked to adopt my kid, and my brain went quiet. I'm a single dad working double shifts at a warehouse for $16 an hour. Diego is 11, and his best friend Henry lives in a neighborhood with circular driveways and 3-car garages. At pickup, my beat-up 2008 Honda sits next to their Range Rover, and I try not to feel small. Last Tuesday, they invited me over for coffee. I had a shift soon, but the mom sounded serious, so I went. Their house was spotless. White carpet, a chandelier, and a kitchen bigger than my apartment. Henry's dad told me to sit, and his wife poured coffee into a china cup with a saucer. Then he slid a manila folder across the marble counter and said, "We want to discuss Diego's future." I opened it and saw adoption papers, and my hands went numb. "Please hear us out," the mom said fast. She said Diego was brilliant and deserved opportunities I couldn't provide. Henry's dad started listing things like it was already decided. Private school. They'd spoken to Lakewood Academy, and there was an opening next semester. Full scholarship through their foundation. Then the mom said they'd start a trust for him. A college fund. $250,000 to begin. My cup shook so hard I set it down. She pointed down the hall and showed me a guest room with its own bathroom and a desk by a window looking over their pool. She said, not unkindly, "He lives in a 1-bedroom apartment. You work nights. He's alone for hours." Henry's dad leaned in and said they weren't trying to replace me. They'd do visitations, holidays, summers. You could still be his father, he said. Every word hit because some of it was true. I work 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. most nights. Diego microwaves dinner, does homework alone, and sleeps in the living room because I gave him the only bedroom. Our ceiling has water stains, and our table has a wobbly leg I keep meaning to fix. The mom tapped the papers and said, "Think about what's best for Diego, not your pride." I took the folder and walked out shaking. I parked around the corner and opened the folder again, hoping I'd misunderstood. My name was already typed in, like I was just a signature. I sat there with the AC blowing warm air, staring at the line that said I would give up my rights, and my stomach turned. I folded it shut, then opened it again, then shut it again, like that could change the words. In my car, it sat on the passenger seat like a brick. All the way home, I kept seeing that room and hearing $250,000 in my head. I got home at 6:47 a.m. like always. I barely slept before my shift, and at work I kept messing up simple stuff because I couldn't stop thinking, what if they're right? Diego was already up at our tiny table that doubles as my desk. Frozen waffle wrappers were in the trash, and he was working on a math worksheet. "Morning, Dad," he said without looking up. I sat across from him in my uniform that smelled like cardboard and sweat and said, "We need to talk." He looked up and his face went careful. "Is this about Henry's parents?" he asked. My heart dropped. "What did they say to you?" Diego shrugged. "Yesterday after school they asked if I'd rather live in their big house," he said. "They said I'd have my own bathroom, a new Xbox, a whole gaming setup." I felt sick. "What did you tell them?" I asked. He erased one line on his paper and said, "I told them my dad's teaching me that a man's worth isn't measured by house size." Then he looked me in the eye, dead serious. "It's measured by showing up every single day." My throat closed. Diego kept going. "Henry's dad is cool, but he didn't teach me to ride a bike," he said. "He didn't stay up with me when I had nightmares about mom leaving. He didn't work doubles so I could go on that 6th grade field trip to Washington, D.C. You did." Then he went back to his homework like it was nothing. After a beat, he added, "Also, their house is boring. They have a whole room just for coats. Like a room. 4 coats." I laughed once and my eyes burned. Diego said, "We have more fun in 600 square feet than they do in 6,000. I looked at my kid at that wobbly table and felt something settle in my chest. That afternoon, I drove back to their perfect house with the circular driveway. This time I didn't take my boots off at the door. Henry's mom opened it and started her polite smile. I held out the folder and said, "I appreciate the offer, but no." Henry's dad stepped in, already talking about scholarships and what's practical. I handed back the unsigned papers and said, "My son already has everything he needs." The mom blinked. "But the opportunities," she started. "He's got the only opportunity that matters," I cut in. "A father who chooses him every single day." Henry's dad opened his mouth to argue, but I was already walking out, boots on their spotless floor. Now people are saying I should have signed. Was I wrong to say no?